Hello, this is Janet Michael. In addition to hosting The Valley Today each weekday at noon on the River 95.3, I also produce podcasts, and I'm excited to introduce you to a new podcast series in partnership with Lord Fairfax Community College. Having provided higher education and career training for the past half-century, LFCC is tightly interwoven into the fabric of the Northern Shenandoah Valley and Piedmont regions. Join me every week for conversations with current and former students to hear their funny and inspiring stories as we learn about their journey to higher education, the role that LFCC has played, where they are now, and where they plan to go. We'll also talk to current and former professors about their experiences and best memories of LFCC over the past 50 years. Get every single episode as they're released on our website at theriver953.com under the podcast tab, or you can subscribe for free in Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, on Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts. Just search for LFCC Stories. Hello and welcome to The Valley Today. I am your host, Janet Michael. Happy Tuesday as you are listening to the show today. We, however, have pre-recorded our conversation, but not on a Zoom screen. You may hear some traffic noise because I am on site at the pumpkin patch at Edgewood Farm. Donna and Robert are here. Thank you guys for inviting me outside to have this conversation today.
Well, thank you so very much for coming.
So let's start with telling everyone where we are. Tell people where the pumpkin patch is located.
It is located across, we don't have an address here, but it is located across from the water treatment plant on Route 7 at the boundary line between Clark and Frederick.
And you can't miss it. When you're driving by, if you're heading into Clark County on Route 7, it's going to be on your left, and the sea of pumpkins you can't miss. And then, of course, if you're heading into Winchester from Clark County, it's on your right and it's even easier.
That's correct.
So how many pumpkins do you have here today?
I grow over 31 different varieties, from cooking to carving.
And you and I were walking around before we started recording, and you've got a bunch. I didn't realize that pumpkins could be used for so many different things. So do you have a favorite variety that you grow?
I do. My best sellers are the porcelain dolls, the blue dolls, and then some of the French pumpkins.
Tell me about the ghost pumpkins.
The ghost pumpkins. I truly believe I had started that many years ago. We planted some ghost pumpkins, and the first time we planted them, they were so large that we had to use a front end loader to pick them up. And Robert could tell you a story about that. An older gentleman had purchased some, and he had to bring them back because he couldn't get them out of the truck by himself.
That would be my problem.
They are a very hot seller, and they're absolutely beautiful. Their stems aren't very sturdy, and they don't always sit up, but they're just pure and white, and they stay white.
And a lot of these are perfect for cooking. I think sometimes we lose sight of the fact that pumpkins aren't just for decorating on our front porches during the fall. You can actually eat them and use them in baking and in cooking.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of times that I even hold them over until into Christmas and the first of the year. As long as they don't get frostbitten or frozen, they're absolutely fine to use.
And different pumpkins are good for different things. You were telling me earlier some are better for soups while some are better for baking. Kind of walk me through some of the differences.
Well, I prefer the porcelain doll for the baking, and pies too. The soup, I enjoy the blue doll. There's a new one out that which I haven't tried yet is the sugar cup. We've got quite a few new ones this year. But I haven't tried any of the new ones until the end of the season when I have more time to cook.
Well, that's what we were joking about earlier. You're knee-deep in the middle of pumpkins through the entire season. You have to wait for the season to be over before you can enjoy any of the fruits of your labor.
Correct.
When did you guys start with the pumpkins? I want to talk briefly about the dairy farm in a few minutes, but the pumpkins, how did that even come to be?
This started with my son, Calvin. When he was in FFA at Clark County High School, Mr. Johnson made a suggestion about, hey, starting a pumpkin field down here along the creek bed. And this was back in 2001. We started. First year, we had a lot of weeds, and we didn't think we had anything. And my father walked out in the field and said, hey, you got to come down and check this out. We had loads of pumpkins. So that's where it started.
They tend to hide themselves under the big leaves, I think.
Yes, they do.
And you were saying that you guys literally planted them one seed at a time?
The first 2 years we did. It was in the evenings. All of my boys were out here. My husband and I, we were planting one seed at a time.
Do you have any idea how many you planted that first year?
No, I don't, but it was a lot.
It probably took you several days to get all the seeds in the ground.
Actually, I think it took us 2 weeks. Honestly, it took us 2 weeks.
And in the beginning, were they just regular pumpkins? Did you have some variety then too?
In the beginning, it was just regular carving pumpkins. And then when I started ordering from different companies, I noticed that, cooking pumpkins. So let's get into that. And I have a huge variety of cooking pumpkins. And that's when we started over at the other farm, that's when I started growing all of them.
Now, are pumpkins similar to a lot of your other flowers where if you pull the seeds out of them and save them, you can plant them the next year? Or do you have to start fresh with seeds every year?
I start fresh with seeds every year, yeah.
So I can't grow me some of these cool pumpkins in my backyard next fall?
There are some pumpkins that people do just throw out in the yard, and they come down and tell me, hey, I've got all these growing, But yeah, sometimes that happens.
That randomly happens to us at home with watermelon and cantaloupe, but they never seem to actually turn into the actual fruit they're supposed to. They start off looking good, but then they just kind of peter out at the end. Tell me about the patch here. How long have you been in this location?
I believe it's 17 years.
Oh, my goodness. But it hasn't always been a pumpkin patch, or has it?
Yes, it has.
And you've got the maze. How did the maze come to be?
It is a scavenger maze.
Oh.
The kids have more fun going through it, finding things. We make a list on a piece of paper, and they have to check them off. How many times they see a spider or a ghost with purple hair or something. It's not real scary for the younger children. But after they go through the scavenger maze, they have the play area to take pictures behind the boards of that's been cut out differently, and play on the bales of straw.
Have you lost anybody yet?
No. No. But actually, I've had a lot of compliments about it. I truly have. The parents say it's not real long. It doesn't take hours to go through, and the kids have a really good time. So,
well, and right now with kids in school, not in school, parents are looking for any reason to get them out of the house in between screen times and just to come out and enjoy the air. And I love the fact that you've added that scavenger hunt to it because it still makes their brains work whether
Correct.
They want it to or not.
Correct.
Do you have like pumpkins for dinner every night?
No. Actually, at the end of the season, I don't want to see another pumpkin for a while.
When do you normally start your planting?
Usually in June, but it depends on the pumpkin, the seed itself, the variety. Some seeds have to be planted a lot earlier, the end of May or something.
And you said earlier in our conversation, you have how many varieties here?
Over 31.
Do you ever see that getting bigger, or is that pretty much all the varieties of pumpkins there are?
Well, actually, I continue to add because I like to see them grow, and I like to see the different variety and taste them, too. If they're cooking pumpkins, I enjoy that.
What kind of response do you get from people when they drive in and they start looking around at all of these pumpkins that are not your traditional orange pumpkin?
They just can't believe it.
Tell me about the peanut pumpkins.
The peanut pumpkins. They're excellent to eat. They taste like a sweet potato to me, and a lot of other people have said that. It's just a great pumpkin, and then on the outside, it's pink shell with, looks like peanuts on it, actually peanuts.
And I've taken pictures of all of this. So as people are listening, they'll be able to go to the podcast page on the website and see all of the pictures of everything that I've taken because there's no way that we could potentially describe every single thing that you're seeing here. And you have mums. I mean, you can't really be a pumpkin patch or a farmer's market of sorts without having mums.
Correct. Yes.
Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, I think we're going to make Robert talk a little bit because I want to hear about the dairy farm because he's got a coolness factor involved with the dairy farm that I want him to tell me about. So can we stick around a little bit and take a commercial break and come back?
Sure.
All right, we will do that in just a couple of minutes. We are on site today recording the show. Of course, we're doing it in advance. You're hearing it on Tourism Tuesday. We are at the Pumpkin Patch at Edgewood Farm, just off of Route 7, just across the county line into Clark County. I am Janet Michael. You're listening to The Valley Today, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Do you know anyone who is struggling with financial hardships because of coronavirus? Our new webinar called Coping with the Money Crunch can help. We'll talk about immediate options to consider, revising or creating a spending plan, and lots of community resources. Then we'll cover how to narrow your priorities, contact creditors, and avoid scams and risky loans. The webinar is free, and you can either join by phone or through Zoom on a smartphone, tablet, or computer. You can find out more by visiting the Northern Shenandoah Valley Financial Education Program on Facebook or calling Karen Poff at 540-635-4549. Let me show you how to make your own plan or help someone you care about get through the crisis. Call 635-4549 or visit at NSV Financial Education on Facebook today.
Welcome back to The Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. We are pre-recording our conversation today for Tourism Tuesday as you're listening to it. We are on site at the Pumpkin Patch at Edgewood Farm, just off of Route 7, across the Frederick County line into Clark County. In the first segment, we spoke with Donna Kuhn about all of the different varieties of pumpkins. You can see pictures of everything on the podcast page of theriver953.com. Now I'm standing here talking to Robert Kuhn, who is the engineer, from what I gather, behind this other thing that we're looking at here, the pumpkin slingshot. What?
Yes, my wife Donna asked me if I could build something that would launch pumpkins, and she showed me a picture off of Pinterest, and that was pretty much all the plans that I had. So a little bit of work with a arc welder and some steel and some rubber bands, and we got 3 pumpkin slingshots now.
Well, I'm standing here looking, and it is basically 3 mini goalposts like you would see on a football field. And I see the rubber bands, and then I see these hay bales that have targets and sad faces painted on the side of them. And behind you is a giant table full of not giant pumpkins. So I'm guessing that means most anybody can put a pumpkin in the slingshot and give it a shot.
Yeah, that's correct. It doesn't take a lot of skill, a little bit of patience, and we got plenty of ammunition, so it's just fun. It's one of those things you learn as you go.
Well, and I introduce you as the engineer of some of these projects because I wanted to chat with you a little bit about the dairy farm. How old is Edgewood Dairy Farm?
Edgewood Dairy Farm was started in 1982, and we've been in business continuously since.
How many dairy cows do you have?
Currently, we're milking about 140.
Now, do you do that every day, a couple of times a day, once a week? How often do you have to do that?
Most dairy farms, including ours, is at least twice a day up until about 2.5 years ago, and then we purchased some Lely robots, and it's now fully automated, but we still have a great deal of babysitting and cow care to take care of, but it's not the normal 4 to 5 hours in the morning early and in the afternoon to milk the herd.
I want to hear about these robots because Len Capelli is sitting here with us, and when he would do the show with me, he had mentioned several times about this really cool dairy farm that has robots. How does one even go about getting robots into their dairy farm to begin with?
Well, it's probably something that you don't really plan on doing. It's more or less the economics of today's dairy industry, labor cost, and trying to even secure a good labor force, a dependable labor force. So our choice to go robotic was driven by mostly the labor, and then the fact that our milking parlor that we used to milk the cows in was in bad need of updating, and the cost of that versus putting the robots in. The robots basically accomplished 2 goals, as that was reduced labor and modernization of the dairy. So that's the main reason why we went with that.
And it's kind of cool, too, because not every dairy farm has robots. You're one of just, a half a dozen in the state of Virginia?
That's correct. Virginia doesn't have that many dairy farms, but, there's 7 other dairy farms now in the state that are robotic. They're a little bit more popular up in southern Pennsylvania and throughout the country. It's a trend that's growing.
Well, you have invited me out for a future episode where I'm going to come out and see how these things work and do some video and stuff. So I'm kind of excited now that I've heard you walk me through the process to see how it goes.
Yes, most people are just astonished at the technology of how the machine can actually clean and milk a cow efficiently and do it 24 hours a day. And it's something you have to see to believe.
Now, do you sell the milk yourself? Does it get sent off to some sort of, I don't know, processor? How does that work?
Very typical of most dairy farms. We have a marketing co-op, and that branch takes care of wherever the milk needs to go, if they find the market for it, and they take care of that. Anybody that's ever worked on a farm know that if you had to do that part of it, you wouldn't get much anything else accomplished.
Yeah, farmers, I've learned, like to farm. They don't like to do all of the other stuff that comes with the business end sometimes of being a farmer.
That's true. It's something that's in us, and we're driven, and most people think we're crazy for what we do, but it's just what we do.
So Donna mentioned at the top of the show how the pumpkin patch got started because of your son in FFA. Do your sons help you with the farm? Are they involved in it at all?
Yeah, we're truly a family farm. We occasionally have some part-time hired help, but it's all family, and it takes all what we can do to keep it running.
So, Donna, I'm going to come back to you. Did you start planting pumpkins to get out of milking cows?
No.
You can tell me. I won't tell anybody.
No. Actually, I enjoyed milking cows. I really did. Morning and evening. I am a morning person. I enjoyed getting up at 3:30, being at the barn at 4, and milking cows. There was many times that he wasn't able to be up there, and I'd have the whole herd milked, and he'd come in and do the feeding. And yeah, I love milking cows. And
see, I have such a high amount of respect for people that say they're morning people. I mean, there's a reason my show airs at noon, and it's because I am not one of those morning people.
But yeah, that was my favorite two things, was milking cows and taking care of calves.
On the patch here, you were telling me that you've got your supply is limited, I guess is what I'm trying to ask. So people need to come out now because you can only grow so many pumpkins, and when they're gone, they're gone. What are we looking at from a time frame?
Actually, my last tractor trailer will be coming in this week, and what will be put out by Friday, that's all that I will have in carving pumpkins, but I still have plenty of cooking pumpkins and the specialty pumpkins.
And what are your hours here at the Pumpkin Patch? When are you open?
Monday through Friday, it's from 10 till 5, and weekends, it's from 10 till 6.
And there's no admission, or is there an admission fee for parents to come with their kids?
No.
This is the best free, fun entertainment I think you can find in the county.
Well, you do pay for the scavenger corn maze and the pumpkin slingshot.
I'm going to get Lynn to take a video of me doing the slingshot before we're done. So people will have to go and watch how this goes. So tell me again, how many varieties of pumpkins, and can you ballpark for me what the cost of them are?
It's 65 cents per pound for carving pumpkins, and then the specialty pumpkins is based on the size. It's either large or medium, and we go from there.
Are you here most days?
I am.
So if somebody wants to ask you, hey, I heard you on the radio and you were talking about this peanut pumpkin, what in the world can I do with it? I'm sure you're happy to offer, well, these are great in soup, or this is better for bread.
I would love to help anybody.
And how can people get more information? Do you guys have any social media, websites? What do you guys have?
We are on Facebook. It's called The Pumpkin Patch at Edgewood Dairy.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for letting me come out and hang out for a little bit. I'm going to thank Silent Lynn over here, who's just sitting in the chair, for suggesting the whole thing. I'm going to go slingshot myself some pumpkins, and then I'm going to buy me some pumpkins, and not even some orange ones. I might have to take a ghost pumpkin home. Even though orange is my color, I think I may have to take some of these other colorful ones home. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll have a brand new episode of The Valley Today ready to go for you. Just a few minutes after noon. Meet me here then.